You guys are in a group called Mom Talk,
Yes.
which is a word you guys say thousands of times per episode on the show.
Yes.
Swinging scandal. Which of you is involved in this swinging scandal? Okay, both of you are...
I don't know what you would call it if it's like soft swinging, but you don't like fully switch, if that makes sense, and go all the way.
I'm Officer Rubrecht with the Harriman Police Department. Okay. The neighbors called in saying they heard a bunch of yelling.
I'm sorry. I'm starting it.
I've done a lot of shitty things, and maybe this was my karma. You know, but I feel like I've had my karma already.
They're trying to kind of make these people the Kardashians.
And the crap that I've been through for defending you and your actions.
This is our marriage. This isn't a game.
I gave consent for your husband to run his little dick.
In a world that is as cruel as it is deceitful, tragedy is ignored in pursuit of a happy mind. Those who seek more adventure beyond the veil may venture into the waters.
These Mormon influencers, they started something called Mom Talk. They kind of speak about it in a cult-like manner.
My feelings towards Mom Talk haven't honestly completely changed.
I feel like really sick.
Soft swinging.
I don't even think I would have done it to him though, because being raised Mormon, I just was like, so I'm sitting.
Is that the girl who danced next to her like dying child?
Her husband was the one that came and told me that he had feelings for me.
Saying, can Mom Talk even survive this after every minor inconvenience?
It was awful. At this point, I'm like, can Mom Talk even survive this?
We all want to belong, for others to understand us. What if you found a group where you could shine, that supported you, lifted you up, gave you a voice?
The mom community online is so rich and awesome, but sometimes that means we get a little negative.
But suddenly, fame started to tear the group apart.
What do you mean, Brett?
What's happening? You're such a prude. Okay, what's my package? Give it to me. If you're asking to swing with us, it's a no.
Scandals, money, lies, drama, cheating, abuse, all became wrapped up in the very group that once became about support. This is the story of how Mom Talk morphed into the secret lies of Mormon Wives reality show.
Mom Talk is at its lowest point right now.
What does Mom Talk represent? While most people may be familiar with the online group due to the swinging scandal involving married Mom Talk couples allegedly soft swinging with one another.
So you get in this group and it becomes popular, and then there is a swinging scandal. Which of you is involved in the swinging scandal?
This show is following their lives post the aftermath of the soft swinging scandal that happened in Utah.
It seems to those involved, Mom Talk represents a sisterhood, a united group of women who come together in support of one another. Yet through the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reality show launching and centering around this group of Mormon women, the group completely cannibalizes itself through competition, drama, and the dismantling of the sisterhood.
Demi and I did have a falling out a couple of months ago. We had a little disagreement about money.
Did money, fame, and a reality show change everyone? Can Mom Talk even survive this? With stars from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives now on Dancing with the Stars.
GMA has announced the contestants for season 34 of Dancing with the Stars. 2 of those contestants are here now to tell us all about it. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives star Whitney Leavitt.
And being announced as the next Bachelorette.
Mom Talk sensation and Mormon Wives star Taylor Frankie Paul is America's next Bachelorette.
How does it feel to be the newest Bachelorette? Surreal is the only word I can think of, honestly, because I doesn't feel real yet.
One must ask, how did a swinging scandal turn into all of this? With any group, there are rules. So, what are the rules of Mom Talk? 1. Always wear leggings. 2. Dancing TikToks is a must, which probably means basic coordination is a must. 3. 3. Be tanned. 4. Be blonde or blonde. 5. No extensions. You will not have an extended stay in Mom Talk. Whitney excluded from this rule. 6. Husbands must all look like an amalgamation of one another, which makes it that much harder to explain them in this video. Taylor Frankie Paul is credited as the founder of Mom Talk, a Mormon mom group that came together to make TikToks, often dancing videos that showcased their young mom hotness.
You guys are in a group called Mom Talk, which is a word you guys say thousands of times per episode on the show.
Yes, yes.
Mom talk, over and over again.
Does it annoy you?
It annoys me beyond any... You cannot imagine how much it annoys me.
The inception of Mom Talk started between what's referred to as the OG3, featuring Taylor Frankie Paul, Miranda McWhorter, and Camille Monday.
OG Mormon Mom Talk started with 3 women: Taylor, Camille, and Miranda.
Though the trio had been posting semi-regularly since August of 2020, their first official Mom Talk post was on Taylor's page on October 20th of 2020, featuring Camille and Miranda and using the word Mom Talk. A phenomenon was born. The trio continue posting in the same format. Again, one must stick to the rules of Mom Talk, and Taylor posted "Welcome to Mom Talk" in December of 2020. So, what is Mom Talk? According to an article in Vulture, hashtag Mom Talk is, well, nothing. Its name is so vague that it offers nary a hint of what it means or does for the Mormon wives. And TikTok is full of other totally unaffiliated women who use the hashtag to just mean being a mother. To the Mormon wives cast, hashtag Mom Talk is just an idea of a thing they're all sort of doing together sometimes. Yet it binds them to an imagined community they're participating in, and a system of socially constructed self-identification that exists in alignment with, but not quite identical to, the reality show. For some women, hashtag Mom Talk is part of a seemingly sincere performance of motherhood. For others, it seems like a chore or a sponsored label that brands can get if they pay for it. Sometimes it's a group activity. Sometimes it looks very lonely. It's not anything really, not in a consistent way, except for, of course, the rules that I mentioned earlier. Always be blonde, always wear extensions, always wear leggings or loungewear, and always be dancing. If you do all those things and you're a mom, congratulations, you're on Mom Talk. Yet Taylor would often make jokes in her content that, well, first off, were very Mormon jokes, but also seemed to foreshadow the scandals to come for the Mom Talk group. Taylor would make content with the OG3, joking about Camille and Miranda being her sister wives, like when she posted a video with text asking the question, "Are we married to the same man?" The TikTok on Taylor's page in January of 2021 got 8 million views. The view count on this video may have highlighted to Taylor, who seems to be particularly savvy when it comes to social media and playing out her scandals on a public platform, just how interested people were in this particular sort of scandal. Taylor did post a TikTok with her and Miranda and their spouses answering the question, "Are we swingers?" with, "Nope, we're just best friends." Or another TikTok that said, "Our man is lucky, hashtag sister wives." That being said, there was a lot of initial positives to Mom Talk. While of course all influencers involved occasionally showed their children, which is, well, not great, the majority of the content Mom Talk influencers created was centered around the mothers themselves and their unique identity. Well, as unique as you can get. No shade. Mom Talk seemed to be about mothers creating a platform off of their own identity, which offers hope that even in motherhood, you can be an individual person with a unique identity, form adult friendships, and while your children are an important point of your life, they're not the epicenter of your identity. I think for new parents in general, that can be a challenging aspect to navigate. A lot of the Mom Talk content seemed based around breaking the mold of what people expected a mom to be, showcasing mothers who are able to do their hair nicely, look glamorous or hot, and have fun with a group of girls.
And that's why you should vote for me. Elle Woods, future lawyer for the class of 2004.
She does have a 4.0 from CULA, and she got a 179 on her LSATs.
A fashion major? Well, sir, we've never had one before, and aren't we always looking for diversity?
Her list of extracurricular activities is impressive.
While some aspects may set unrealistic standards for many mothers, it also could change the narrative of motherhood, that it doesn't need to be self-sacrificial, that you don't need to be drowning and neglecting yourself and your friendships, which can be really challenging for many new mothers. Another interesting aspect of Mom Talk in its early days is that there wasn't much conversation about the mothers being Mormon. While some followers may have picked up on this undertone simply due to the high frequency of balayages, extensions, fake tan, it wasn't a core aspect of their content, but Taylor's content quickly capitalized off of rage bait humor. Instead of leaning into purity culture, she would often make jokes about Mom Talk's Mormonism, breaking the stereotypes about the ways in which Mormons act, and outraging other members of the church in the process. This honestly makes me sad that this is what's representing our church. I have Mormon friends, they have a strict dress code. Interesting. Whether you're on the side of social media that featured Mom Talk, or Nara Smith and Ballerina Farm, or true crime documentaries like Murder Among the Mormons or The Sins of Our Mother, there's no doubt that Mormons dominate the media, and many are fascinated by their stories and their lives. Why is that? Why are Mormon lifestyle influencers so popular? Recently, I read Sherry Frankie's book, The House of My Mother, considering making a deep dive and an update on the adult children of the Frankie family, which I may or may not cover at some point. Either way, I highly recommend that book. One aspect that Sherry Frankie covers is why influencing became so predominant in the Mormon church. From what I recall, people are encouraged to document their lives in the Mormon church. Stories are often shared of people's Mormon ancestors. People are encouraged to keep diaries of their lives. So when blogging and then daily vlogging surfaced, it seemed like a natural next step for many members of the Mormon church. Combine that with the emphasis of aesthetics within Mormon culture, and you have the perfect combination for the modern day influencer. Essentially, creating content, especially lifestyle content centered around aesthetics, is ingrained in the Mormon culture and religion. Even when slightly rebelling from many Mormon cultural ideals, the Mom Talk influencers follow these concepts by the book. Most people are introduced into the world of Mom Talk influencers and this particular group through Taylor Frankie Paul, the most controversial character of the group, and the most beloved.
Our next guest rise to fame is the age-old Hollywood story. Go viral on TikTok, get caught up in a sex scandal, and land your own reality show. Please welcome Taylor Frankie Paul.
I'm Taylor Frankie Paul. I'm 28 and I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. Right after high school, I got married in the temple. I was being pressured into it by the church and my mom.
That being said, there are a lot of people involved in Mom Talk, some of which we likely won't cover in depth in this video. Here's the main people you'll need to know who end up making an appearance on the reality show. There's Jennifer Affleck, married to Zach, who may or may not be the cousin of Ben Affleck.
It's so funny, when I first started dating Zach, that was the first thing that his family told me. They were like, well, if you marry him, you get to say you're related to Ben Affleck, which he's like a second cousin. His dad's only met him once.
There's Demi Engelman. I'm pretty sure I've said Demi's name wrong. Her name is pronounced Demi.
My name is Demi Engelman. I have been married to my husband, Brett. He is 46 and I am 29.
Whitney Leavitt.
I was in the thick of it here with all these rumors being spread about my family.
We moved to Hawaii for 2 months.
Macy Neely, Jessie Nagatakura.
Especially in Utah, there's a lot of blonde bitches here.
My name's Jessie. I am a hairdresser and I own a hair salon. We have had a billboard for my company. People are talking about how they think it says jizz.
Michaela Matthews and Lila Taylor.
My name is Michaela Matthews. I'm 23 years old. I've been married to my husband Jace for 6 years now.
2 kids, 22, never in my life.
I went to a very Mormon populated high school. Being Black in the church, I have never taken it personally, but you definitely do stick out like a sore thumb.
When you look at the cast of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, particularly in season 1, you'll notice that only Taylor from the OG3 is on the show. Why is that? Cast members on the reality show, Jessie and Michaela, describe the transition from the OG3 to the reality show that it is today. How the group of influencers all knew one another vaguely in the Utah influencer sphere. So the reality show had a pool of people to test the show dynamics and choose the cast.
It's funny because in Utah, there's a big group of influencers and we all go to events together.
together and like it's like a little community. So we were all intertwined in that community.
Like how many influencers?
50 to 100 like prominent ones.
Really?
Yeah. There was that Mom Talk group that was really close for a while, but it was like more business.
I think there was like an original Mom Talk for like a year before the swinging stuff, if I'm right.
Back then, Mom Talk was like transactional from what I've heard. Like business, get your video done, see ya. Now it's like a real friendship.
In January 2022, 4 months before the biggest Mom Talk scandal broke, Taylor posted a Mom Talk that featured more people who would eventually become the cast members of the reality show, which could mean many things. Either the group was genuinely becoming friends, or behind the scenes, something was already in the works. Yet, none of the cast members or Mom Talk influencers that many know today could have had a reality show that became as popular as it did without first there being a massive swinging scandal. A tectonic shift in the Mom Talk influencer world as everyone knew it. In May 2022, Taylor Frankie posted a TikTok that started everything. All of a sudden, her life was falling apart, and everyone would be completely shocked to find out why. Because at the end of the video, she said she couldn't speak on it without bringing them all down with me. Shortly after her first TikTok, Taylor made another post about getting a divorce. Many in the comments weren't sure whether or not to take her seriously, since Taylor had made so many joking TikToks. This seemed to prompt Taylor's live stream, where she came clean about everything.
Back to being in an open relationship, Tate and I kind of opened those doors, and we had people in, and vice versa. I don't know what you would call it if it's like soft swinging, but you don't like fully switch. We had an agreement, like all of us, and I did step out of that agreement.
Immediately, the internet was flabbergasted. People started to break down exactly what Taylor claimed in her live, so people could understand what exactly was taking place. And the most important question of all, can Mom Talk even survive this? Taylor just went live on TikTok right now, and here's a debrief of everything she said. There's a group of them who are all intimate with each other by choice. They would have parties, get drunk and belligerent, and then would go up and hook up with each other. It was all consensual, and there's more details that she cannot share.
No one was innocent. Everyone has hooked up with like everyone in the situation. Yes, I'm getting shunned for doing that, but it wasn't like I was like going around like hooking up with my friend's like husband. We were at a party, I got belligerent, and we went and messed up like by ourselves rather with the whole group, if that makes sense. One time. It was a one-time thing. It sucks that I have to admit this. No one really wants to admit that they're involved in something like that.
Says it's all a big mess, with 3 divorces going on right now, 2 regarding this situation. She refers to it as soft swinging, which is where you hook up but don't go all the way.
I guess soft swinging is when you like do other things but you don't go all the way, is what I've been told. That's what happened with us. 3 divorces in our friend group right now going on. 1 not really to do with the situation. There's 2 of us that are getting divorced, 2 families.
They had an agreement that they could do anything as long as they were on the same page and were all with each other. Taylor stepped out and broke this agreement with someone, and they went off and did it on their own. The rule she broke is that they went up to hook up separately without their spouses at one of the parties, and they went all the way, whereas the others did not. It was a one-night thing that they then admitted to everyone afterwards, which is how they got caught. She has proof of everything in case anyone tries to deny anything. She has text messages, group messages, and video evidence. Divorce is separate from friend blow-up. The other people involved are part of the friend blow-up and are trying to act like they aren't a part of it. She isn't going to go into details about that out of respect for them. She says everyone is trying to lay low.
So I'm not saying any names. If you guys want to do the research and figure out the names, there was a group of us that were intimate with each other. All of us were pretty open to it, on board for it. Obviously, no one was forced. We did this on occasion. We would have parties, and everyone by the end of the night would go, we'd go up, you know, and do all that. It happened several times, like cabins, parties, all of it.
An added layer to this whole scandal is the history of polygamy within the Mormon church. Even now, church leaders, who are all men, have a concept of multiple wives in heaven because one of their wives had passed on and they remarried. When they now die and go to heaven, they will have however many wives they had in heaven with them. That being said, even if that's a current belief, still many Mormons are trying to dispel what they believe are harmful narratives of their polygamist past, and felt that Taylor's or Mom Talk's swinging scandal scandal added to these harmful narratives. The entire aspect of Taylor's divorce and this swinging scandal was that mom talk was supposedly at the center of all of it, because of course people would. After Taylor's video, people started to speculate on who else was involved. Miranda McWhorter and her husband, Chase, posted a video saying they weren't involved in the swinging.
Chase and Miranda stated on the live that they were not part of the swinger stuff, that they are on good terms with Taylor's ex-husband Tate. They also cleared Camille and Sam's names, stating that they were not part of the swinger drama. Miranda states that she's not on good terms with Taylor because Camille had told her that there was a rumor started by Taylor that Miranda's husband Chase had feelings for Taylor.
Many fans felt it was mighty suspicious that around this time Taylor and Miranda were fighting, but Miranda and Chase claimed that Miranda had a falling out with Taylor because Taylor started a rumor that Chase had feelings for her. Camille Monday, who Taylor had personally said was never involved in the whole swinging crew, solely because her and her husband brought too much drama.
Wow. That opening hits hard. It's like peering into a twisted fairy tale where sisterhood turns toxic. As someone who's seen friendships fracture under fame's glare, I feel a gut punch when I hear these women crave belonging, only for scandals to rip it apart. The swinging tease, shocking in a Mormon context, but it exposes how repressed desires explode. It's sad, really. Their pursuit of happy minds ignores the cruelty bubbling beneath. This sets a chilling tone. I'm hooked, but wary of the emotional wreckage ahead.
Posted comments saying that she and her husband didn't swing. Macy Neely, Whitney Leavitt have also posted videos saying they never were involved. This left fans bewildered and skeptical because, well, it couldn't have only been Taylor involved in everything. As this TikToker says, you can't all say that you aren't a swinger because some of you are.
Not all of you can deny being a swinger. Some of you are. So you all can't make a video saying you're not, because some of you are. So please stop scrolling and please let us know, because the world is waiting.
People began creating intricate speculations as to who could have possibly been involved, though many believe the OG3 to have some level of involvement, and a new couple popped up in the speculation, named Kenna and Braden Rowley. This couple wasn't fully a part of Mom Talk or the OG3, but would allegedly hang out with the crew.
There was my ex and myself, and then two other couples. Couple one is who we had soft swinging incidences with, and couple two was really good friends with couple one, and we would all hang out when the second and final instance of soft swinging happened. That night I went home with my ex, and I clearly remember this moment, and I remember looking at him and saying, if this is what you want, we can divorce now.
Braden, the theorized culprit and catalyst of the swinger drama, has also some very creepy allegations, apart from allegedly being involved in all of this. Swinger Braden told his employer that his wife died when she was very much still alive. McKenna posted a story time on TikTok that when she was married to Braden, he told his employer she died. When they received sympathy flowers in the mail, he lied, saying there was a different Braden at work whose wife died, and they must have received the flowers by mistake. Months later, McKenna received a call from Braden's HR, and they were confused that she was alive on the phone talking to them because they were starting life insurance paperwork for her death. This story is insane.
My ex was sent condolence flowers, and when I asked, it was, oh, there's another guy on my team with the same name, like first name. His wife isn't doing well. They probably sent it to the wrong house. I get a call from this company, answering it, expecting it to be my ex, and it's HR looking for him. And I was like, oh, this is his wife. How can I help you? And they asked for my name, and I stated it, and I could hear the confusion on the other end. And they're like, ma'am, you need to talk to your husband. We were calling to start a life insurance paperwork for you. And I was like, oh, there's another guy on his team with the same name. I think his wife's not doing well. I think you have it confused in there. No, we have on paper that it is you. you need to talk to your husband. I was like, okay. So
people also found some very questionable evidence of past interactions between the OG3, like Taylor's comment on Miranda's now ex-husband's Instagram. Chase made a post saying, happiest of birthdays to my beautiful wife and closest friend. Taylor commented saying, happy birthday at Miranda. So happy to have met you guys. Such a sweet couple inside and out. P.S. Let's play this weekend. Some photos Miranda had of her and Taylor together in a bathtub were leaked. Miranda stated those photos were silly, joking photos from a bachelorette trip, even though in each photo Miranda had 2 different hairstyles. Taylor responded saying, those pics that were leaked of me online were a year and a half ago at a cabin party, not 5 years ago at a bachelorette party. If you continue to spread lies, I will continue to tell the truth, and we don't want that, do we? In an ex-Mormon Reacts video, creator Alyssa Grenfell says that in her opinion, swinging is fairly common in the Mormon or ex-Mormon community because of how common it is to be married young and how prevalent the idea of staying in an unhappy marriage is pushed onto young Mormon couples.
Swinging, in my opinion, from the gossip I've heard, is actually pretty prevalent in Mormon culture, especially in Utah, and it's prevalent in ex-Mormon culture as well. All these women are getting married, some of them as young as 16, 17, 18, straight into childbirth. A lot of the men getting married around 2021, very early marriages, and then when they find themselves in their unhappy marriages, they then basically try to resort to swinging as a way to stay married, which is a very, getting divorced and breaking up a temple marriage is a really big deal within Mormonism. So I think they resort almost to swinging as a way to have their cake and eat it too when they get dissatisfied with this relationship that they started very young.
Google Trends data from January of 2022 to September of 2024, the month of the show premiere, shows 2 sharp spikes on the search term mom talk. Once in May of 2022, when Taylor made her TikToks and live streamed regarding the swinging scandal, and once in September of 2024, when the first season of the show premiered, showing of course that the swinging scandal caused a lot of engagement and interest surrounding mom talk, and this data may have been enough evidence for showrunners to give mom talk, well, their very own reality show. The quick succession in timing from the soft swinging drama that blew up on Mormon mom talk as one of the most shocking and bizarre dramas to cross most people's timelines, to suddenly the TikTok mom influencers being plunged headfirst into a major reality show is fascinating. How did producers link this group together off of this drama and launch a reality show? According to The Wrap, Taylor and the other moms were initially approached a few months after the swinging scandal blew up. While Paul weighed whether amplifying the group would make things even worse, she joked, how much worse could you get in my situation? People got a little piece of the story that I had to tell, and I was judged just off of that piece. I feel like this was the perfect opportunity to give background of what happened, why it happened in my life now.
We were already messing with fire. I'm not trying to justify it, but like when you're rocky and you're messing with alcohol and hooking up with people, things get messy fast. And so I remember calling Miranda and being like, hey, like I had an affair and I did mess up last night and I felt really bad and I'm freaking out. And my ex-husband, he was like bawling, like, how did you do this? Like, how did you do this? And like, I was a loyal wife for like 6 years and I told him everything besides like the last 2 months of our marriage. And so like for me, I betrayed not only him but myself.
The Mom Talk manager, Select Management Group's Danielle Pistotnik, is credited as the person who advocated for the group to have their own reality show. This sounds insane, but the first time that I was on a call with all of them, I was like, there has to be cameras here. The dynamic that they have is so funny.
I have to give all that credit to Danielle Pistotnik on my team, who was working with Macy and Michaela and Taylor, and she approached me, my colleague Georgia Berger, and was like, I think I have something here. I think that this is a show. And she was very, very, very right about that.
Pistotnik is also an executive producer on the series. Others with reality show industry experience quickly saw potential in the group as well, like Russell J. Staglick at Jeff Jenkins Productions, who had a relationship with Hulu and had formerly worked on the Kardashians reality show. The deal for The Secret Lives was put together in a matter of days, an unheard of feat in Hollywood, and they quickly shot a pilot episode. Jay Staglick at Jeff Jenkins Productions said his team immediately immediately recognized the potential in the women of Mom Talk as a cast of characters, but they took extra care to ensure that they were hitting the right tone. We were extremely excited and motivated by the prospect of creating a series that could balance everything viewers love in a fun, drama, and humor-filled docusoap, alongside a genuine exploration of faith and religion. And I have to say, I think our team hit the mark. There's so much more to these women than Mom Talk and a swinging scandal, and we're thrilled to be the producer that both Hulu and Select trusted to bring their stories to life. After shooting the pilot episode and testing out different cast members, a new Mom Talk group was born, as Whitney Leavitt posted onto TikTok in 2024, saying, "Welcome to the updated Mormon Mom Talk," with all the members of the group who would go on to be in season 1. I feel like I don't know what a Mormon is anymore. With the announcement of the show, there was a lot of press, including a write-up in the New York Times, but the thing is, after everyone had filmed the pilot episode, things had taken another dark turn in Taylor's life.
Utah-based influencer and TikToker is facing several felony charges. The Harriman Police Department says earlier this month, 28-year-old Taylor Frankie Paul got into an argument with a man and threw a metal chair and a wooden playset at him.
In February of 2023, Taylor was arrested and charged with 3 misdemeanors: assault, criminal mischief, and domestic violence in the presence of a child. Allegedly, Taylor threw a chair at her then partner, Dakota Mortensen, who's not her ex-husband, but a new person she was seeing, who'd go on to be featured in the reality show. This chair accidentally hit her daughter.
Unsure whether or not the chair hit her, but is leaning towards thinking it did not. Regardless, based on their statements, the cell phone footage, and the disarray of the home, Taylor is arrested that night. She's charged with reckless child abuse, assault, criminal mischief, and commission of domestic violence in the presence of a child.
The body cam footage of the incident that night, with Taylor being visibly very upset, has been released to the public and widely shared on social media.
You can sit or whichever.
Okay.
So what's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor. I'm Officer Rubebrecht with the Harriman Police Department.
Okay.
The neighbors called in saying they heard a bunch of yelling and screaming.
I'm sorry. I'm starting it.
So let's start with this. How do you spell your first name?
T-Y-O-R.
Just go ahead and just focus on breathing for me.
I really don't want to trivialize domestic violence, and I am really concerned that this section might do so. So I really want to put this disclaimer. It's my concern that this incident has been completely blown over due to the buzz surrounding the reality show, and the way the reality show dramatized the whole thing without fully tackling the topic. While Taylor was required by law to go through substance abuse and domestic violence evaluation, many of these cases get swept under the rug, or the perpetrator continues exhibiting toxic behavior just behind closed doors and in more covert ways. So that being said, it is really up to you to decide how much you think Taylor properly moves on from the situation and makes the appropriate amends. Taylor made a TikTok in September of 2023 talking more about the situation, saying, "Hitting rock bottom helped me seek the help I wasn't getting at the time," and talking about how she felt embarrassed and guilty in light of the whole situation.
And I decided I don't want to talk about that night. I don't owe anyone an explanation besides the people involved. Court is officially over till next year. They'll just check in to see how I'm doing, if I'm still doing better. As much as I wish that night had went differently, I felt like hitting rock bottom actually helped me in some ways. It made me seek help that I wasn't getting at the time.
Much of the comments under this video are very positive. It seems that Taylor's audience forgave her, seemingly very quickly. On top of all of that, as scary and heartbreaking as family violence and interpersonal conflict is, it seemed like the engagement that came from sharing the situation so publicly was all utilized as a way to funnel people into the oncoming reality show. Not by Taylor herself maybe, but by the showrunners who used it as marketing material and drama on The Secret Lives.
There's gonna be drama tonight. There's something in the air.
911, what is your emergency? Somebody is screaming, get off me.
What's your name?
This is a formula that we've seen time and time again, with reality stars like the Kardashians using their most traumatic moments as marketing material for their upcoming seasons.
So I slid off my bed and picked up my phone and I'm like, I don't know how to call 911 in a different country. Either they're gonna shoot me in the back, or if I make it and they don't, if the elevator does not open in time, or the stairs are locked. Then like
Taylor's arrest footage is heartbreaking. Her sobs echo real pain, not scripted TV. As a viewer, I feel intense anger at how trauma becomes marketing material. Shockingly, producers exploit DV for ratings, glossing over accountability. Reflecting personally, I've seen loved ones in toxic cycles. It's sad how fame amplifies it, sweeping issues under the rug. This moment highlights injustice in reality TV. Where's the genuine healing? It makes me question if rock bottom truly leads to growth or just more spectacle.
It may work, but at what cost for the stars themselves? All of this drama featured Taylor at the forefront, making her the natural main character for the reality show. Taylor became the most likable cast member and one of the most likable reality stars for a specific reason: her authenticity. While many influencers, reality stars shy away from speaking on their scandals or the ways in which they made mistakes, throughout Taylor's time online, Taylor has always owned up to her mistakes and her flaws. She's been vulnerable in a way that's very hard to be online, especially when Taylor likely knows she's facing a lot of judgment from the Mormon church. Being able to show her audience the most shameful parts of herself, grow and learn, even if it's not in a perfect way, in a world where so many influencers are hiding their flaws, was refreshing for many to see and made her perfect for reality TV. When the trailer released, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives looked to be a show about how Mormon and Utah women find their place in a culture that wasn't built for them. How do women deal with being shamed, feeling impure, and having to keep secrets after years of being repressed by the men in their lives, their churches, maybe even their own family? Season 1 sold a promise that through Mom Talk, there was hope for these Mormon women, a unified front in which they could come together and find a support system. But things quickly unraveled from there. When people initially were asking questions surrounding why the OG3 weren't on the show, and it was essentially a cast of new characters and Taylor posted a TikTok claiming that some people wanted to only do the show if she wasn't on it. None of the other moms casted onto season 1 claim that they were a part of the swinging scandal. It seems that Taylor was alone, in a room, the only person involved in the entire thing. But season 1 was drama-filled as each person on the show brings their own issues. Season 1 picks up just a few months after the swinging scandal, as Taylor is trying to make amends with her friends after dragging them into all the drama. As the Sydney Morning Herald says, with Paul dethroned, some of the women, mainly Whitney Leavitt and Demi Enjamin, begin to compete for control. The group also struggles to remain united amid shifts in their own faith. Some, dubbed the Saints, remain adamantly Mormon, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, meaning they wear special garments, regularly attend church, and don't consume alcohol, tea, or coffee. Others, dubbed the Sinners, are becoming more progressive by openly chatting about sex, imbibing alcohol, and pushing against patriarchal norms within their households.
Will you raise your hand if you are the breadwinner in your family from your career online?
Not right now.
Wait, did Connor get a job?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he loves it.
From what we're told, this is a very traditional community. The men are supposed to be the ones that bring in the money. How does that affect your relationship?
My husband's all for it.
He's like, I'll stay at home.
He's just been a supportive king, so that's all I can ask for.
Oh yeah, so supportive. I know you're a single mom.
Yeah, so I have no choice but to support my babies.
My husband loves it. I mean, without me, he wouldn't be able to go to med school. It's nice to know that you earn the money and you can go spend it how you want.
Apart from Taylor's scandals, one of the most controversial figures on the show has been Whitney Leavitt, most known for doing a TikTok dance beside her newborn baby who has RSV. Whitney posted a TikTok in December of 2021 of herself dancing in the NICU while her baby with RSV was hooked up to oxygen. So yeah, which most people would say is not the best judgment call to make in the moment. Whitney has since taken down the original video, but it can be found re-uploaded online, with many people remaking the video and essentially mocking its ridiculousness. Initially, when Whitney received a lot of hate online, she uploaded an apology video saying that her doing a TikTok dance besides her newborn baby who had RSV and was in the NICU was her just trying to stay positive during a very negative time, likely very stressful time.
I understand people are upset with the video that I made. I just want to be clear and communicate that that was me just trying to be positive. I think it's important to just not just assume what someone's going through. Anyways, I took the video down because I could see, you know, where somebody could get the wrong idea, but that honestly was just me just trying to be positive in this situation.
Which, okay, I'm sure we all do things to try and stay positive and keep away stress, but some things you can keep to yourself and keep offline. I also want to note that being an influencer in the public eye likely means that all sides of you, even ones where you're in your worst state and don't realize it, are constantly being broadcasted. Influencers may even get into a mode or mentality where they feel like they need to post everything and they don't even notice it. Postpartum mental health issues are more common than most admit and can lead to behaviors that many would not exhibit outside of the postpartum experience. Does that mean that anyone experiencing postpartum mental health issues would post the same sort of content that Whitney did? Most of us probably wouldn't, because likely if you're watching this video, you probably don't believe in making your children into content anyways. Throughout season 1 of the show, as well as in TikToks with other mom talkers and cast members, Whitney became a dislikable figure for how she spoke about the incident in what many deemed an insensitive manner.
I'm Miss Whitney, and one time I danced with my son in the hospital, and people still send me
In season 1, Whitney compared her scandal to Taylor's swinging scandal.
In that video, people felt that I was using my child's sickness for clout and for attention.
Everyone was so quick to forgive Taylor online for swinging, and then I just feel like I still get shredded to pieces almost every single video.
I am very confused because I'm like, girl, you have no idea the amount of bullying, threats, and comments that I have received on a daily basis up until today.
But Whitney has continued to express regret over the incident. She reflected on the scandal in an interview earlier this year, saying that she regrets it and doesn't love that it follows her around, calling it her Kim K sex tape.
How does it feel when people still to this day reference the RSA video? Correct.
I didn't even know what was happening with that video. I didn't even know it was like taking a turn in a negative way. And then my husband called me, is like, you need to take that. Like, Did
you take it down?
Yeah, I did take it down. I had needed some time before, like, I came out and said anything. And also I didn't really have a big platform then. It was really small. So I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that's like such a part of my life.
Of your
like,
story.
I hate that.
Like that, would that be your one kind of regret on social
it's like
media?
Kim's sex tape. Like, that's my sex tape, I guess.
Again, a little bit weird because that tape was released without Kim's consent. Aside from the RSV TikTok dance scandal, Whitney has also posted other questionable content with her kids, or rather babies, like when she posted a video prank pouring a glass of water on her baby. On that note, of course, other mothers of Mom Talk have also posted content of their children that personally give me the ick. This is a TikTok from Demi. Mom, who always wanted a blonde daughter. Daughter who bleaches her hair to be mommy's perfect little girl. While cast member Michaela doesn't appear to have any major scandals with her kids, a lot of her most popular TikToks highly feature them. I thought this was essential to note, as while most Mom Talk members post content of themselves as individual people, they don't necessarily live by the rules of keeping their children entirely offline, which has led to some questionable content regarding their children. But as far as the reality show goes, children are intentionally not featured prominently on the show, kind of like how Keeping Up with the Kardashians at least used to not show the children. This may be because of the crossover of people who have been involved on the two shows. As an executive producer from the show told parenting outlet She Knows, the choice to not focus any storylines specifically on children was not only deliberate, but part of the very foundation of the show. The kids are still so young. We have a lot of parents on our team, and they, from the beginning, have been incredibly vocal about protecting the kids. It's a precarious situation for the show to balance. On social media, the stars of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives pretty freely post their kids and readily make them part of their brand. But amid a growing online discourse about whether kids' images should be shared online, a reality show left in the hands of a team of producers and streamed out to millions raises different ethical questions than a video posted by a mother. I would like to somewhat walk back on my charitability with giving a lot of mom talkers the benefit of the doubt when it comes to showing their children, as well as the executive producers. Of course, the conversation is nuanced. When it comes to The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the children are not the sole focus of the show, as well as the various mom talkers' social media profiles. That being said, when I started watching season 3, literally I think in episode 1, Taylor's baby is shown for a good portion of the show as she talks about co-parenting and handing her baby off to her partner. And personally, that stuff just makes me a little bit uncomfortable. On one hand, talking about topics like co-parenting is an important topic of discussion. On the other hand, does your baby need to be shown so prominently to discuss this topic? Are there other ways of going about it? Taylor herself shared on September of 2024 on an episode of the Vile Files podcast that her ex requested that their kids not be on the show as well, which is why 2 of her children aren't present in the filming ever.
They're like, can we keep the kids off? So we didn't show my children, their faces in the show. And he's like, I think they kind of want to see how it went, what it's going to be and whatnot.
That being said, mothers on social media can often encounter a sort of double bind. This is something I've noticed particularly recently. If mothers are constantly posting their children, they receive criticism for doing that and exploiting their children. But there's also another side to it, which is if mothers are posting about their individual lives and are choosing to keep their children offline, they often receive criticism for never being with their children, as if they're somehow deadbeat mothers, when in reality, it's likely they're just choosing to not feature their children in their content. Where's the mom part of mom talk? Are these women actually moms? There's so little, approaching zero parenting in this show. There's a lot of trips and events and getting together as friends, but I don't know any mothers who do life like this. So confusing that they are known for mom talk. At least other people have picked up on the fact that this is an intentional aspect of the show. The only thing I like about them in the show is most of them not showing their kids. It's the most level thing about the entire show. Yeah, I like that the show is centered around the social dynamics of the women rather than showing the kids. Sure, some people might want to see how they parent, but in order to do that, the kids end up getting put in their worst moments, exploited for TV views, and it feels icky. In season 1, Whitney was, for lack of a better term, seen as the villain.
No! No! No.
She leaves the Mom Talk group chat, and it remains unclear at the end of the season whether or not she'll remain on Mom Talk.
If the show does get a second season, obviously it gets difficult for reality shows to film when someone isn't as involved in the group. Do you think you would still want to be part of the show, and how do you think that dynamic would work out?
Ask me after September 6th.
After you see it?
I see it, yeah.
Can Mom Talk even survive this? In a TikTok, Whitney seems to insinuate that she was given a bad edit, saying that she just finished watching the show, but captioning the TikTok, that's not how I remember it. Nevertheless, the internet hated Whitney after season 1. This lady is pure evil, and I'm glad the universe gave her a philandering gay husband to humiliate her on TV. Yeah, most of the internet thought that Whitney's husband was gay. When cast members were doing promos for the show, dressing like handmaids from The Handmaid's Tale, but going clubbing. I'm just watching The Handmaid's Tale at the moment. A lot of people ridiculed Whitney's outfit. Who let Whitney out of the house like this? How does this girl have any fans? She is so cringe. Who let Whitney out of the house based on a reality show that's at least trying to have some sort of conversation about patriarchal norms? Feels a little bit strange. One of the plot points of season 1 was Whitney's husband being found on Tinder, which ended up being a major drama.
I did have a presence on Tinder, but it really stemmed from an addiction.
I came prepared.
Can I grab one? Yeah. Oh, ripped it. Too strong. It stemmed from an addiction to pornography. I had a real problem, and that problem just developed into it manifested in a more ugly way.
Another focus of season 1 was regarding Jen Affleck's relationship with her husband Zach, and whether or not she was in an abusive relationship.
Jen Affleck is for sure in an emotionally abusive relationship.
Most of this worry arose during a moment on the show when the cast members were going to a Chippendales show, and Zach essentially threatened him and Jen's marriage if Jen decided to go to the show with everyone. Zach says being divorced and taking care of 2 kids would be kinda tough, so I guess you make that decision.
But yeah, we were going through a ton season 1, and there was a lot that led up to Vegas that was never shown. There was a lot of resentment on my end and a lot of miscommunication on Jen's end, and it just kind of led to this massive explosion, which was unfortunately the biggest fight in our marriage. And I'm embarrassed for how I acted, but it is what it is, and like, we just have to keep moving forward.
He also received a lot of criticism for the way in which Jen supported him, financially and in other ways. But Zach continued to spend money irresponsibly, like in the same episode when he spends thousands on gambling in Las Vegas.
He's gambling right now.
After the show, Zach received a lot of criticism for the ways in which he acted while being filmed. What does his family do? Hold him accountable? No. Blame Jen for putting them on the show. So Zach's family stopped talking to Jen.
What was Zach's family's reaction when you bring it to the world, right, on TV? Like, what did they make of it? Did they even mention that?
You know what? I haven't spoken to them since season 1.
Really?
Yes. Like, our relationship has been, like, pretty rocky.
That being said, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was an immediate success. The show seemed to have the right mix of Mormon influencers, societal commentary, and in-season drama, so it took off.
I just got done watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and as a self-proclaimed reality TV sommelier, I give this show an 8.99 out of 10. I binged it all in a day.
Season 1 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives became Hulu's most watched unscripted premiere of 2024. According to Deadline, the show even bested the most recent season of The Kardashians. The show went on to receive a 2025 Emmy nomination for Outstanding Unstructured Reality Program. That being said, not everyone loved The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Even when the first season aired, there was a whole petition online where people were trying to get the show canceled. And as much as members and the church would like to say that these women are not members and they should not be counted as Mormons, we get scenes like this in season 2.
How does it even start? I can't remember. We are daughters of our Heavenly Father who loves us and we love Him.
We stand as witnesses of God at all times and in all things and all places. What they're reciting here is the young women's theme, which is something that during every Sunday when we were in young women's from about 12 to 18, you were supposed to stand up and recite this script, this statement in unison.
Before the show even aired, some LDS church members began a petition to try to get Secret Lives canceled. This series, which sensationalized the private lives of a few individuals, does not reflect the teachings of our faith and risks perpetuating harmful stereotypes about the Mormon community, the petition read. The Church of LDS also posted a statement titled, "When Entertainment Media Distorts Faith." They posted this statement a couple of weeks before the show premiered, but they never explicitly mentioned the show. Instead, they write, "A number of recent productions depict lifestyles and practices blatantly inconsistent with the teachings of the church. Others irresponsibly mischaracterize the safety and conduct of our volunteer missionaries. We understand the fascination some in the media have with the church, but regret that portrayals often rely on sensationalization and inaccuracies that do not fairly and fully reflect the lives of our church members or the sacred beliefs that they hold dear. Millions of church members around the world are deeply dedicated to family, fidelity, service, and the gospel of Jesus Christ. We invite all to consult reliable sources of information and listen to the voices and authentic experiences of individuals and families who find great joy and satisfaction in living these principles. Of course, those within any religion, culture, etc. are not a monolith. So while many within the Mormon community admonish the show, others loved watching those within their church, religion, culture live through their lived experiences is in a reality show. As one Mormon woman wrote in a Substack titled My Mormon Explainer of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, saying part of the fun of season 1 was watching a group of young women wrestle with questioning patriarchy and their prescribed roles in real time. It's kind of thrilling to me, honestly, because when has anyone documented anything about the experience of Mormon women? Ever. The Mormon Church certainly hasn't. Of course, I feel like I can already predict a decent amount of comments in this video. Scandalous outfits, a swinging scandal, a DV incident. These women clearly aren't Mormon. Why are they continuing to say they're Mormon and adopt the Mormon brand? Well, besides the obvious, that Mormon media content has historically performed really well, so I would theorize that it's part of a strategic business move to draw viewers who are interested in the Mormon church culture diaspora.
While conflict was brewing in Whitney's world, coffee was brewing behind closed doors for Michaela. I wonder how the good Lord feels about that. Let's take a look at Michaela's obsession with coffee enemas.
The branding around the use of the word Mormon is for a specific reason. Have you ever noticed that you'll see a picture-perfect influencer online, often a woman with many children, in her home, cooking a perfect meal for her many children? Everything looks traditional, but idealistic, and millions of followers later, the internet finds out that influencer is Mormon, even though the influencer had never explicitly stated such. And why is this so common? This may be because in 2018, President Nelson, the head of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, requested that Mormon members no longer use the word Mormon as a descriptor of either themselves or the church. The strict Mormons labeled themselves as Mormon less and less, instead opting for the label Latter-day Saints, but sometimes only when asked, which is why there's often these picture-perfect influencers living out specific lifestyles without outright claiming the Mormon label. Over time, the phrase Mormon gained a looser definition. Sunstone, an educational foundation for people who have descended from Joseph Smith, whatever that means, not to offend anyone, has coined the motto more than one way to Mormon, likely as a way to expand the Mormon culture and recruit younger people, as the church's power may be struggling to gain a foothold in younger generations. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives doesn't use the phrase LDS, which is often what those who follow more stricter religious dogma refer to themselves as members of. It seems like the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives meets at the epicenter of all of this, a group of women labeling themselves as Mormon, but not exactly adhering to strict Mormon standards. Instead, adopting a sort of Utah Mormon culture, always wearing loungewear or leggings, always being blonde or blonde, be tanned, wear extensions. Yet the strict dogma that offers the foundation of many Mormons' religious beliefs is on shaky grounds. The cast members' Mormonism continually butts heads with their fairly progressive worldviews, which results in them attending a burlesque show to having children out of wedlock and more.
New Orleans is known for its nightlife, so we cannot come here and not go out on the town. So I arranged for us to go to a burlesque show.
There's nothing inherently wrong with any of these choices in the modern world. Heck, I'm jealous. I would love to go to a burlesque show. But in the culture they're surrounded in, well, that's a different story. In a BBC article, Whitney describes the backlash all the women faced for the lives they portrayed. When the first trailer came out, there was some backlash from the church because they were scared. But actually, we're showing you how we live the Mormon life, and we all live it differently. Jessie adds that the docudrama shows how we are all normal and everyday girls, not people wearing bonnets and churning butter, like you might think. There are Mormons who still get upset about it, but we're just showing our version of it, and I think that's empowering, as hopefully people can relate to our stories and struggles. Taylor expands on this in an interview with Time. There's this stigma that all Mormons are supposed to live the same way, or do live the same way. The point of our show is that there are so many different ways of living Mormonism. It's a spectrum. This kind of fits with the doctrine the church has been using to try to recruit new people. More than one way to Mormon.
You guys are just like us.
Yeah. We're like a little more scandalous.
No, we really are. That's why I'm excited for this. I'm like, we are not much different than the rest of the world. We don't just churn butter all day and wear bonnets.
The thing is,
we're normal.
There's a lot of members
we
too.
bake and we twerk. Just kidding.
There's a lot of members too that like don't follow things to a perfect T, and I just think it's honestly commendable that a lot of these girls were willing to admit that, hey, I've done this here and there, and like I still do this here and there, and like it's okay, because there's so many members, especially being like a younger girl in this group. I can't even count on a hand how many people I know personally that don't follow everything to a perfect T, but they like to pretend and act like they do.
Because the entire show was born from a sex scandal, the women on the show are comfortable speaking about sex in a manner that not only most Mormons, but I would say most people probably don't speak about so publicly. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing and vulnerable parts that people figure out privately or just pretend don't exist.
I want you each to answer this, okay? Taylor, I'm gonna start with you. What arouses you?
The most? I love like a scenario in my head.
Okay, so some fantasy play.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. How about for you?
I like dirty talk.
Dirty talk. Nasty.
I hate dirty talk.
What arouses you, Michaela?
Oh, I love massage.
Yeah.
And also smell. I feel like smell is like not like sex smell, but like deodorant and perfume.
Yeah,
like the smell.
So you're essential gal.
Yeah. You know, I got my own sexual trauma. Next.
This whole normalization of the topic is, of course, very at odds with the whole chastity being a virtue thing within the Church of LDS. On her Call Her Daddy podcast episode, Taylor speaks about how talking about sex growing up was incredibly taboo, and how talking about it to the public felt real because she was doing it, likely pushing back on the limitations she had growing up, but that in her relationship, she prefers to keep it more personal.
Obviously, we're taught don't have sex until you're married. And I have, I go back and forth with this too, with people's opinions, because I see what they're saying. Obviously, it does prevent a lot of things. I hate that I felt like if I did do it, even though I wasn't married, that I'm this awful person and to sit in that shame. And I think a lot of LDS members could relate to that. I think moving forward for me, I don't probably want to be talking about my sex life, to be honest. I've been there, I've done that, I've broadcast it to the world and in so many different ways. But I think moving forward for me and my peace, I think that's something I do want to be personal with my next person and maybe not talk so much on it.
Whitney had an episode where she talked about taking a brand deal from the sex toy brand Bellesa, who she ultimately decided to work with.
Get ready with me while we talk about one of my favorite scenes from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It was the scene where my sister and my mom and I were talking about education. The personal DMs that I got from specifically women talking about how it gave them confidence to talk about it more. Well, this one's for you girlies. Everyone who clicks the link in my bio gets a free toy or a gift card.
What the fuck is this? In the Mormon religion, we're very conservative. I worry about my family seeing me promote this toy because it's very, very taboo.
Much of this is seen as very progressive dialogue, women that are having conversations that have often been shut out from the Mormon church. The question is, what conversations are missing from the show? Because that being said, there's someone on the show, Layla, who hasn't gotten much screen time or much of her story told.
So I'd be like, okay, what's the one thing that all of my friends have in common? They're all part of the church. So I got baptized on my own when I was 16. Being Black in the church, I have never taken it personally, but you definitely do stick out like a sore thumb. I feel like I'm like missing out.
There's an incredible post that summarizes why maybe Layla's experience has been kept out of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, titled "This Show Doesn't Have the Guts for Layla's LDS Experiences."
I don't want to give my kids traumas because I'm dealing with it, and I need to be strong for them.
Jacob, this is obviously affecting you. Why is it hitting you so hard?
I'm just a girl dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Layla, thank you again for opening up. That was very brave of you and not easy to share, but it's great to see you working on it and doing so much better.
The post reads, Layla is in an abusive relationship with an entire religion, state, social construct that up until the 1970s would not even let her join their cult because their scripture believed Black people were demonic. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives runs on a spectrum, Jen to Taylor. Everyone else falls in the middle, except Layla. The cast can't even speak to what Layla has experienced as a Black woman in that cult and in that state. They can't because it would implicate the cast's complicity and their allegiance to whiteness above their empowered Mormon womanhood. These women are white first and women second. Layla knows this. She has likely long since clocked that she has no real sisterhood anywhere in that church/state. Hence her glaringly missing narrative. If she told the truth, then the rest of the white women's take down the patriarchy would rightly be seen as the striving desperation to become their fathers that white feminism has always been at the end of the day. Ever since I read the phrase, the striving desperation to become their fathers that white feminism has always been, it hit me so hard, because I think that sums up a lot of the confusing and disappointing things we're seeing that empowered white feminists are doing in media today, like Taylor Swift trying to monopolize the music industry and weaponize all the power she's gained against other young and up-and-coming artists. But particularly with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you can see this so clearly. These women are some of the first in their family to become the breadwinners, tackle the patriarchy, and how they end up doing so is through upholding toxic power dynamics and regurgitating cringy narratives on the show that highlight just how, well, white they really are.
I'm done trying to keep the peace. Like, they poke the bear and the claws are coming out. Like, I'm done. You haven't seen the other side of me. You don't realize I was raised in the hood. Like, watch out. Okay? Catch me outside. How about that?
Hey, you're born in Provo, Utah. Calm down.
Yes, I was born in Provo, but raised in the hood. So, hey.
Says the blonde extension lady.
So, hey.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives cast members, as they become more famous, more successful, more rich, become more like their fathers. Or maybe not like their exact fathers, but like a middle-aged rich white dude who is toxically competitive and cutthroat when it comes to business. All of a sudden, the show stopped being about a sisterhood and became about who is getting the better brand deals, who is more famous or more liked than the other cast members. And this is when the show really began to break the fourth wall.
Demi and I did have a falling out a couple of months ago. It really rocked our friendship. We had a little disagreement about money. Demi basically was willing for Jessie to be off the show if she can kind of get paid more. Demi was willing to let Jessie go off the show for more money. It gave me a bad taste in my mouth, given that's her best friend.
Things like brand deals and popularity from the show and mom talk became conflicts within the show itself. The New York Times wrote an article about the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives' particular uniqueness when it comes to breaking the fourth wall, saying, but none of the reality shows before it breaks the fourth wall as regularly as the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. The business of mom talk has made many of its influencers breadwinners in their household, and issues of clout, contracts, and appearance fees are central to the plot, as friendship betrayals and broken marriages. They're often the source of those tensions. Most of the cast members have said they're the breadwinners of their families in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, with brand deals on average ranging from $20K to $30K per deal.
How much money can you make doing TikToks and doing brand deals?
It's up to you how much you want to work.
It can be extremely lucrative.
The bigger ones are like 20 to 30K.
I went from working like 2 full-time jobs, you know, $15 an hour, to like making a 30K brand deal, and you're like, wait, how is this even possible or real?
This means that a huge amount of money is at stake for each woman, especially if they're the ones providing. It's a lot of pressure, but I don't think it's a reasonable excuse to turn on the other woman in your close circle.
Are you worried Demi was willing to take a bigger contract even if it meant you potentially being dropped from the show?
We can't run away from this.
I know.
And this is ironic just in the sense that this is a complete diversion from a lot of the content that many other Mormon influencers make, the trad wife image. Not that they're actually living a trad wife lifestyle, since much of those Mormon influencers are making hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars off of their millions of followers. They're branding themselves to be trad wives who stay at home, cook, clean, and don't work, even though they run a social media business. But the women on the Secret Lives reality show are doing the exact opposite, showing women who are the primary earners and fighting over brand deals, which kind of rips away the trad wife aesthetic. I'm just imagining Ballerina Farm and Nara Smith fighting over a brand deal, or who gets to make the next homemade pumpkin sugar donut recipe. But the thing is, whether you're a Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reality show cast member or a trad wife social media influencer, the data doesn't lie. And from the data, you can see just how much money Utah Mormon influencers are making. The Business of Fashion reported that influencers based in Utah, which is over 60% Mormon, drive $250 million worth of sales annually, or 5% of its $5 billion in global sales. Excuse me? Yet Utah residents account for just 1% of the overall US population. So you can see just how prevalent the influencer industry is in Utah. Excuse me. With the success of season 1, money and fame flowing into the show, and the cast of women involved, season 2 was inevitable.
I think Mom Talk's been a positive impact for the Mormon community.
Okay.
When season 2 aired, it was more successful than ever. Hulu says the show hit 5 million views in the 5 days after all 10 episodes of season 2 dropped. A bump in viewership compared even with the success of the first season, which was the streamer's most watched unscripted series premiere in 2024. A big change in season 2 was one of the members of the OG3 joined the season, Miranda McWhorter. It seems after season 1, and well, how much of a success season 1 was, Miranda made amends with Taylor and everything that took place during the swinging scandal. For literally years after the swinging scandal, no one knew who was involved, and many fans had their biggest suspects. The biggest suspect, ironically, being Miranda. Information had slowly come out that seemed to point more and more to Miranda having been involved in the swinging scandal.
So I have my husband, and then I have my best friend, and then her husband, and then like some other people.
Are their names out there? Are they public figures as well, or are they of trying to avoid being brought up in this conversation?
I mean, people kind of know. Like, if you really wanted to, like my friends, like it's out there. And yes, she is a public figure.
So we got pretty drunk, and I think from there, initially, it wasn't even really a discussion. It was more just like kind of flirty, like, you know, oh, take your shirt off. Like, whoa, what's that gonna? And then it's just kind of like, where does the line come up?
It wasn't until Miranda joined season 2 that she fully admitted to and owned up to being involved.
I wasn't ready to own anything. This is like awkward to talk about, like with the church and like family and everything. Like it still was shameful and uncomfortable to bring up.
Even posting a TikTok with Taylor joking about it.
That was rude. That was pretty rude.
Because the two were on good terms, Miranda joined the show.
Didn't just kiss people, though you participated in all these things. Sex in the shower. We also had sex in the same bed at the same time. We would blindfold each other. And we were so drunk, we were making out, we were on top of each other, and they all filmed it on their phones.
I mean, Taylor's not wrong.
A big point of contention on season 2 was Taylor's relationship with her partner Dakota, the same partner who she was with during the DV incident. Taylor discovers that Dakota has been cheating.
Dakota was involved with the girl during our early dating. I was lied to for 2 years. Where the f*** is my apology for hurting me that day? I was the night girl that you came over to at night, and you were asking her on dates and telling her cute things. I feel like a piece of trash.
This is after she's had a child with him. Drama ensues.
You can talk to whoever you want. He's
yeah, because you lied. There's multiple times you've lied that now I know are the truth.
Let's talk about
That's
what
crazy.
you've done.
Yeah, let's talk about what you've done.
What you've done.
Oh, you want me to bring you up?
Do you want me to bring you up?
Yeah, shit, Taylor. Yeah, this.
I won't ever be able to trust you. And so now it's like, what do we have? So I am going to tell him, please don't come back home.
Throughout this entire drama, many people disliked Taylor's family this season for the strange, backhanded way they often seemed to treat her. During season 2, Taylor's family seemed often unsupportive of her and supporting people who were clearly against her, including her partner at the time, Dakota, who was cheating on her. In season 2, when Taylor met with her family alongside Dakota and they began talking to her family about the rockiness of their relationship and how Dakota was sleeping with other girls when he was with Taylor at first, instead of getting upset at Dakota, Taylor's family immediately shames her for the whole thing, which is logical.
I hear he slept with another girl. He admitted it. I was so sad that I needed space. He went and hooked up with Jenna that very night. I trashed him. He come over the next night, and then you go and you hang out with another girl, and then he comes the next night and me again.
Taylor's dad says to her, he just told me that you'd seen each other 3 times before all of this, and then you're sitting there and saying he had sex with you. What does that say about you?
Here's the thing, I'm gonna be blunt, freaking honest. He just told me that you guys had seen each other 3 times.
I don't know Taylor.
Before all this. And then you're sitting there telling me that he came over and had sex with you? What does that say about you?
Yet many fans disliked Taylor's mother the most for the ways in which she often criticized and spoke against her own daughter.
I know you guys prefer marriage before moving in, But like, that's obviously not how it's gonna go.
I'm not supportive of it. Why do you have to rush it?
Because we're having a baby.
I know, but that doesn't matter.
You'd rather me do it alone.
Yeah, that's the choice you made when you got pregnant. You already got divorced, you know, at a young age, and then you bring Dakota in this when you don't know if he's 100% sober. I don't want you to be like, oh, this is not going to work out. Okay, I have a baby from a second daddy.
I don't want a revolving door of men attached to my daughter and to my grandkids.
I'm scared.
Yeah. Again, you shouldn't have got pregnant.
Which is true.
While at the start of season 1, the show was almost branded as a group of women dismantling the patriarchy, the vibe, tone, overall feel of the show seemed to completely shift in season 2. As one woman explains well in a Substack titled My Mormon Explainer of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, season 2. The show really is a masterclass in how patriarchal culture works against women, including women who naively think they might be rising above it, to reinforce misogyny and turn women against each other. Is this show about Mormon wives, or is it just about the way our culture treats women? Here are just a couple ways that the Mormon wives reflect the reality we all live in. Media loves a catfight, undermining female solidarity.
I'm not ever gonna be the type of person that is just gonna be like a bitch to be a bitch. You, Taylor, I know who you are behind closed doors. You are done. Like, not on my watch, bitch. You're done. She's gonna make herself look dumb. If she comes in below the belt, I will absolutely dominate her.
Me too.
I will make her look like such a fool. I just can't see this going any other way but a pure bloodbath. I am absolutely packing extra super tampons.
She's disgusting. I don't want to be associated with her. I'm like, you have no idea what's coming for you.
In Mom Talk, it's all about supporting women and being there for each other.
Taylor's disgusting. She's a disgusting human being.
If you're asking to swing with us, it's a no. What we're about is supporting each other privately and publicly. She's fake, and I think she's a bitch. You're so delusional, and you think that everyone's always coming for you.
Keep in mind that all the young women of Mom Talk had children in their teens or early 20s. One got pregnant at 16. 3 more of them got pregnant at 19.
But yeah, like getting pregnant at 16 was another traumatic experience in itself. And I had just moved out of my house. I think I got pregnant literally almost a year exactly after I moved out of my house at 15. So
wow.
Yeah, it was like I hadn't even processed that. And then I'm jumping into now being a mom and raising a kid at 16, 17.
They are literally a success story of teen moms who achieved financial independence. Watching some Mom Talk women turn against each other for airtime, power, for high-paying contracts, or fighting over brand deals runs parallel to the way women have been trained to fight over men, positions of power, and other scraps of patriarchy for a long time. In season 2, Macy Neely lands a book deal.
I got a book deal.
Like officially, like through a publisher?
Yes, so I'm super excited.
And Taylor presents at the CMA Awards.
Ariana, what are you doing here?
The cast often fight over financial positions gained from the show. The fights will often start off camera and then move on camera.
I'm told that you think you deserve the biggest brand deals, and I'm curious to why you think you deserve that.
I never said that one time.
I heard that too. I heard that too.
I actually heard that too.
Me has let the money side and greed go to her head, where that comes first, and then everyone can fend for themselves.
This means that once a woman receives a big opportunity, they're not often supported by the other cast members, jealousy seeping into everything. What was once about a sisterhood of Mom Talk, supporting one another, lifting each other up, is now constant infighting, division, and jealousy. Can Mom Talk even survive this? The division between women was felt, not just by those watching the show, but some of the cast members as well.
In Mom Talk, from my perspective, it's all about supporting women and being there for each other.
I think Jen is fake.
Okay, well, this escalated quickly.
Miranda herself stating in an interview, I can't help but wonder if this is what women supporting women looks like, because it certainly doesn't feel like it.
There's a lot of history here, a lot of resentment, and I can't help but wonder if this is what women supporting women looks like, because it certainly doesn't feel like it.
All we do is gossip and fight.
So you guys can talk behind my back in there.
Okay, let's do it.
Yikes, yikes, yikes.
One big change from season 1 to season 2 was that Whitney was given a better edit or had a redemption arc.
Does this mean after this trip, I'm officially back in Mom Talk?
I wouldn't say that.
I think we need to take a vote.
You have 12 more initiations to complete. Am I allowed to vote? I'm just kidding. I'm like me.
Whitney's husband Connor and her worked on their issues, it seems, and had a stronger marriage after the fact.
I had a real problem, and it led to something that really hurt my wife. I'm so sorry. And I'm working on myself. That 2-ish years we spent working on our relationship was like a forger's fire. It hurt every day.
Which I do think it's really healthy to see in media, as often we're presented with the perfect image when it comes to marriages. Then all of a sudden people divorce. But for young people to see a relationship have bad moments and either grow through it or decide to break it off is really important, I think, so that if they ever decide to get married, they have an example of people who worked on their issues in media or grew a stronger relationship over time, rather than just people who pretend to be perfect.
In the Mormon culture, you want to do whatever you can to not get a divorce. Like, divorce is very shunned. And so immediately when I first found that out, I was like, well, I got to make it work. Like, I have to do this. And it wasn't until I sat down and talked with my therapist, and he's like, well, you have a choice. And I loved that, because I think if I did just continue to have this relationship with him, that for that reason, that it wouldn't be what it is today. It would be because I felt like I had to. But I had to sit down and be like, well, do I want to make this work or do I not?
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for therapy.
Of course, this is all assuming Whitney and Connor aren't themselves just putting on a show right now. There is a very campy aspect to the couple, which I think is great. And I also think that speculation on the two's sexuality is taking things too far. Whitney has also had what I would call a major redemption arc in the public eye. While it could be through some of the ways she took accountability in season 2, it also seems like fans adored seeing Whitney and Connor's relationship grow. How they interacted with one another online when the show wasn't airing, like some of the silly TikToks they made together. A large part of the couple's relationship arc was finding out more about Connor's story. Connor was essayed as a child, which fans found out, and as they saw Whitney and Connor grow together on the show, many felt a sense of guilt over the harsh treatment they had given Whitney and Connor early on.
That was a very difficult part of my past, and something I've worked hard to heal from. And I know so many people carry experiences like that, even though they may not talk about them. Those experiences shaped me and developed really destructive habits.
Everyone owes Connor an apology. Trigger warning, SA. Connor's story absolutely broke my heart. Honestly, I thought it was disgusting the way people have always made fun of him and have speculated on his sexuality. That's not something you speculate on, whether it's true or not. You never know what someone has gone through or is going through. I think we as fans of the show really failed here. To be SA'd as a child can bring so much trauma, confusion, and pain later in life. And all this time, people are speculating that he's gay, invalidating his marriage and making him out to be like he's some creep. He was trying to cope with very severe trauma. Him being on the show and opening himself up to all speculation and staying silent, I think shows a lot of resilience in him, and I'm proud of him for opening up about it now. With the election happening during this time, many stars on the show were examined for their political beliefs, who they aligned with, and what moral stances they took, at least publicly. Taylor supporting Trump. Yes, Trump all the way. Demi following Ivanka and Donald Trump. Cast at Pride event. Yet it looks like Layla and Michaela attended a Pride parade and someone commented, but who did y'all vote for? And Layla left a blue heart.
Someone in the comment section asked him, spill the tea on who the Mormon wife Trumpers are. Who voted or is a supporter of Donald Trump? He says everyone but Miranda and Layla.
With all of the competition shown between co-stars, the constant infighting over who were the biggest stars of the show, with the biggest brand deals and the best opportunities, it raises the question, who are the biggest stars of the secret lives of Mormon wives? I would argue that the biggest indicator of breakout star quality is when the reality show is off season, how big are the other opportunities that the cast members are receiving? Well, recently there's been some major opportunities given to cast members of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, showing the show has become a mainstream phenomenon, and that some of the women on the show are given other opportunities in hopes that their star power will give the brands and media endeavors an extra boost. Jen and Whitney appeared on the current season of Dancing with the Stars. There have been many concerns surrounding Jen and her marriage and potential abuse taking place. During season 2, Jen was pregnant.
So I am stressed out of my mind with the thought of me being pregnant because Zach and I aren't on the best of terms. And I think the last thing we need is another baby.
And during her pregnancy, she had to go to a wellness retreat for her mental health. Taylor also allegedly went to the same retreat for her mental health as well.
The first trimester is absolute hell. I've been in some of the darkest places of my life, and I'm focusing on not only on my physical health, but my mental health. And in order to protect this baby, I feel like it's important that I stay at home and get some rest.
Now Jen seems to be thriving and recovered, which is really beautiful to see. Whitney has become one of the top contenders for Dancing with the Stars due to her stage presence, performance, and ways in which she promotes the show through her social media platforms. Many felt what made Whitney so likable from watching her on Dancing with the Stars was her charisma, a side they don't see much of on Secret Lives. This is also interesting in the context of the possibility that Whitney may have suffered from something like postpartum depression. Was the public simply witnessing Whitney find her spark again? Of course, that's entirely just conjecture, and I don't want to be speculating on another person's mental health. I just also think postpartum depression and how it can affect different women differently isn't talked about enough.
I've enjoyed this season the most because I'm not pregnant. I'm a little bit farther removed from being postpartum, so I feel most like myself this season, which is great. Yeah, it's good. This one's really good.
Throughout Whitney's time on Dancing with the Stars, fans loved seeing Connor act like a supporting and loving partner behind the scenes and on social media. Yet another major news that broke was that Taylor was going to be the next Bachelorette. It seems like most people were either concerned for Taylor, hearing that she was going to be the next Bachelorette, or wondering why. With all the scandals, a public arrest, Taylor was approved for the show. Others who are fans of Taylor's but weren't avid watchers of the show The Bachelor or The Bachelorette seemed excited to tune into the show just for her. Finally, a Bachelorette who can carry this series back to success. I have never seen a single episode of this entire franchise, but I will definitely be watching Taylor Frankie Paul. I've been following her since she was a grandma with twins. If you know, you know. I love seeing Taylor outside of the secret lives of Mormon wives. She's so honest, funny, and relatable. I've never watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, but I will be tuning in for her. Never watched The Bachelor a day in my life, but trust I will be tuned in to see Taylor. Taylor announced herself as the next Bachelorette through appearing on an episode of Call Her Daddy. In the interview, Alex Cooper asks about how Taylor thinks being the Bachelorette might impact her friendships with the other Mom Talk women.
Your fame has been such a topic of conversation with the other women on Mom Talk throughout this entire ride. How do you think being the Bachelorette will impact those friendships?
I think most of them are going to be happy for me and support me. I can't speak for everyone and what they actually truly think. You know, you never really know. But I think we're all kind of doing our own things. And so that's nice that everyone's getting their own shots. And so then you could be like more of like, it's not just about her. And so I love that 2 of our girls Dancing with the Stars. I'm so excited. I want to be at their first show. I've been so like, I wanted that for them because they wanted it so much. And I like when they both got it, it was amazing. And then obviously you have Macy with her book tour coming up and she's going to be doing that.
So with some Secret Lives of Mormon Wives cast members going on to have more success than others, being on Dancing with the Stars, becoming the next Bachelorette, the question remains, can Mom Talk even survive this? Macy posted a TikTok in August with captions, "Mom Talk is back together, for now," and "Say sisterhood." I would say for the most part, season 3 is a natural evolution to what has transpired on the show. Many people, quote unquote, leave Mom Talk due to not liking their updated contracts, though they still appear on the credits of the show, so they're still somewhat on the show. Whitney is disliked by the group because she has aspirations beyond mom talk. Yet on social media, more and more people are empathizing with Whitney for wanting to break away from mom talk and challenge herself to do other things in show business and life in general.
Am I supposed to hate Whitney because of season 3 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Season 3 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives makes it clear that the only real reason, or at least the only big reason, that Whitney Leavitt returned to the show after a contract dispute is because of the Dancing with the Stars thing. She knew that they were casting and that they wanted somebody from Mom Talk and that she wanted to be a part of it. Is that calculating? Absolutely. But does she attempt to lie about it? No. It seems like they want us to be mad about the fact that she returned to the show primarily, if not only, for the opportunity to be on Dancing with the Stars. And to that, I'm kind of like, yeah, no duh. And again, hear me out. 2 reasons. 1, all reality television, whether or not you want to admit it or not, is opportunistic and ambitious. I'm not excusing her wishy-washiness, but I will at least say I'd rather her be upfront and honest about it. 2, and you can be mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to be so blunt and real with you. Whitney Leavitt is a star.
Not everyone fits into every group, as much as we may want to get along with everyone. Sometimes you outgrow something or feel a calling in another area. Instead of Mom Talk being supportive of this, like many toxic groups, it doesn't seem that they could support Whitney unless she was all in on Mom Talk and in agreement in the way that their group operates. Right before I was about to release this video, Whitney was eliminated from Dancing with the Stars.
Let me congratulate you guys on an amazing run. It was no secret your desire to be on this show.
It was definitely worth it. Yeah. I would do it all again. Yeah. I didn't even think I was going to make it this far. Maybe it's like the little kid in me that had all of these dreams that felt unobtainable, but now they feel within reach.
Yeah, you're a little more fearless now moving forward, right?
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Connor dressing up every week. I mean,
amazing. Look at the man. I know. It brought us so much closer. Like, I will forever be so grateful. I feel like he really picked up this. I shouldn't say slack, but I wasn't at home, so he was stay-at-home dad, kept keeping the house clean, tending to the kids. Like, I have a baby who's still getting up in the night. He'd get up with our baby. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do this without him.
Many felt that this was due to the backlash that Whitney received from season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I think what bothers me most after finishing Dancing with the Stars tonight is just thinking back of how much enjoyment and humor y'all found in taking down Whitney Leavitt. Like, that is so freaking weird to me. Like, Whitney was like one of the only contestants on that show who simply could not exist like within context. She did not get that privilege. She did not get that luxury whatsoever. You have no idea who this woman is. You are getting a edited version of this woman. And even if we are taking that argument, that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. This is a dance show. And she was the best technical dancer on the show. And y'all didn't let her go to the finale because you think that women have to appease to you 24/7 and they have to be liked in order to be qualified. Okay, you don't like her. And now what? Like, it wasn't enough to simply not vote for that woman. Y'all had to come on an app and give your reasons as to why other people shouldn't vote for her and why you hate her. And yes, I say hate, because y'all said that with your big old chest. You hate somebody that you only interact with over your TV screen. What's good? Like, what's going on up here?
Because of the narrative that she was essentially just on season 3 because she wanted to be on Dancing with the Stars. Much of the narrative that I at least saw circling online after Whitney was eliminated was that many people were disappointed.
Whitney getting eliminated from Dancing with the Stars tonight, I'm literally distraught. What is the point of having a dance competition if the best dancer isn't even in the finale? So what? She's kind of a bitch. Aren't we all kind of bitches? Have you never been a bitch before? I can't.
They felt that Whitney was one of the most talented dancers on the season and were disappointed that she was eliminated due to the backlash from a different reality show.
The more I think about it, I am 100% convinced that the only reason people hate Whitney Leavitt is because she's an outward manifestation of what they wish they could be. As a longtime watcher and lover of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, like I've watched from day 1, episode 1, can you guys please explain to me, and quickly, do it quickly, how, when, and why we started hating on women for being ambitious? For having a dream? For being honest? Because I wrote a list of Whitney's sins on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Mind you, I'm not done the season. I just want to say that. But everything that these girls are mad at her about are not just like neutral traits or even positive traits. They're traits I aspire to. I've never heard anyone put it like that, but I'm being dead serious, guys. Honesty, I aspire to that. Ambition, I aspire to that. She is easily the realest person on that show, other than Taylor. And everybody's... I've seen people post on TikTok, which is why I had to make this public service announcement, that season 3 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives solidified the fact that they're never voting for Whitney on Dancing with the Stars. Mind you, those shows have nothing to do with each other.
Whitney herself, it seems, couldn't escape the narrative that she had received from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, even when she was aspiring to do something else, to make something of herself beyond the show. The characterization that she received on the show still haunts her. It will still follow her to this day.
We, of course, will still see you on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We're seeing this season that you said you really wanted this. You needed this. So was it worth all the sacrifices? And was it worth going back on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives to get this?
Yeah, you know, when it was like when we were given the chance to go after this, I will forever be so grateful that I did, because yeah, I feel like it changed my life. I know that sounds so cheesy, but I really do feel that way. So I'm very, very grateful.
Many people feel that Whitney will do things outside of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, become involved in show business, just due to the fact that she seemed to be a very talented dancer and had voiced those aspirations on her season of Dancing with the Stars.
Mark my words, at some point soon, Whitney will be announcing that I'm talking about Whitney Leavitt from Dancing with the Stars, who just got voted off. Shocking. She will be announcing that she's going to be doing, being plugged into a Broadway show at some point soon. Her whole package tonight on the show was about believing that she can be hired as a performer. That's what she got out of this experience. And I guarantee, I actually would go as far to say as I think I even know what production it will be. Chicago on Broadway. Mark my words, Whitney Leavitt will be plugged into Chicago on Broadway for a limited run, whatever it'll be.
And so the ultimate question is, will Whitney be able to escape the narratives that have been derived from her off of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? And ultimately, who are the true quote-unquote mean girls in all of this? Is it Whitney for pitting herself against the cast of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Is it the rest of Mom Talk for being against Whitney for wanting to do something different? Or is it some of the audience members who root for another woman's downfall? Ultimately, I think that the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives points out a very important thing that a lot of women today refuse to tackle: our own internalized misogyny and how that can surface. Some people may know this, some people may not, but I'm a really avid reader, though I read a lot of fantasy and I'm trying to read more nonfiction. And so I'm thinking in some of these videos, I might start a quote unquote book club. And one book I'll be reading this week is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which I think tackles a lot of these topics. If you've read that book, let me know what your thoughts are and how it might relate to The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Demi also leaves Mom Talk due to a falling out from season 2 and a disagreement in the updated contract. Yet through much of season 3, she's still participating in drama and causing a lot of drama. In my opinion, there seems to be an almost religious undertone that seeps into Mom Talk. The phrase Mom Talk has been evangelized. Mom Talk must be an insulated group and highly controlled over who is allowed to enter and be a part of it, and what the rules are, and most importantly, what the image is of Mom Talk. This is most apparent in season 3, in my opinion, when many of the women continue to iterate that Mom Talk is in its reparation phase. And when a scandal comes up, they're so concerned about how that will reflect on the part of Mom Talk. Will Mom Talk survive this becomes not just about the group itself, but about the larger image and brand that Mom Talk has. The image of womanhood and sisterhood that is fracturing apart scandal after scandal, and the feigned unity they attempt to manufacture for the public eye. But as more scandals come up, as more people break off to do their own solo endeavors, and as more fights happen over money and business, it becomes clear that Mom Talk, as stated earlier in this video, is really nothing. It's an illusion. And as they oust each other and isolate one another, and have each woman prove themselves to enter back into the group and keep rules over who's allowed to be in it, through doing that, the image of Mom Talk may completely shatter and fracture apart. And that's how a TikTok mom group that gained traction over a swinging scandal became a successful reality show. And that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below if you think Mom Talk will survive all of this. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay well until then. Bye!